Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I want to talk about these new characters that were not really announced, but more had the spotlight shine on them by Lucasfilm, I guess you could say, because these characters have already been introduced in, I think it was one of the comics for the High Republic. Now, who are these twins? Who are these twins, in case you're wondering? Well, these are new characters that, like I said, were introduced in the High Republic, and according to Lucasfilm, they are trans non-binary Jedi twins. And according to the post that was made by Star Wars, they did this in support of, at least according to them, in support of International Transgender Day of Visibility. You can see it right here, and we'll get to the actual post in a second, but the reason why I'm talking about this is this. If you're someone out there, and believe me, those people are still out there. If you're someone out there who still doesn't think that Lucasfilm is a company that does nothing but empty virtue signaling, then I honestly don't know what else to tell you, because you're seeing the proof right here in front of you. And not only are you seeing the proof right here in front of you, but you're also seeing, again, just another perfect example of why so many people have walked away from Star Wars. So just a little bit more context on these two in particular before I go on to show you just some examples as to help, I guess you say, reinforce the statement that I made that Lucasfilm, and not just me, but so many other people, that Lucasfilm as a company, all they care about now is just empty virtue signaling and pandering, because they think that this is how they are going to get a new audience, when in reality, the audience that they say they want, i.e. because they decided to make this virtue signal, they thought that they were going to get, all of the trans non-binary people to watch, and or I guess read this comic that these two happen to show up in. But the thing is, they don't know that it's not going to happen, because I'm willing to bet most trans non-binary people also hate the fact that they're being pandered to. I'm willing to bet most of them hate that they're being used like this, that they're not treated as regular people. So let's just go ahead and let me just show you an example of where Star Wars is right now, and why so many people have just walked away from it, why they don't recognize it as Star Wars anymore. Let's just head on down to this. This is a page from the actual comic. So this is where we see something, and I feel like you can already see it just by looking at the page, but this is where we see something that honestly shows you why Star Wars isn't what it used to be anymore. So you can see, this is, by the way, this is Avar Kriss. You've seen her before, or I think she was the first character introduced when they were, rolling out the High Republic. She was the first character to ever be shown. So you can see her right here. She's talking to another Jedi, the one with the green skin. I forgot her name, and honestly I don't care. Now she's holding one of the twins. You can see it right here, and you can see he's clearly in pain, right? That's what the panel shows you. This guy is clearly in pain. Oh, excuse me, not guy. Sorry, didn't mean to offend. This person is clearly in pain, and she's telling him this person's in pain. Like, what should we do? Now, just let me just ask you a question. Say you were in her position, and then someone just told you that the person that they're holding right now is in pain. What's the first thing that you would do? Normally, if you were a regular person, you would walk up to that person and ask them, hey, are you okay? What's going on? What's the first thing this bitch does? And again, once again, just shows you why so many people don't see Star Wars now as Star Wars, why they see it as Disney's Star Wars. Literally, the first words out of her mouth after this person tells her, I don't know what happened, Marshal Kriss, he just cried out. And from the looks of it, it looks like this person is in pain. Literally, the first thing she says, not he, they. So you're telling me your first instinct is when you see a person in pain, your first instinct is to correct someone's pronoun usage. Now, you might be thinking, again, what's wrong with letting someone know that, hey, like, just so you know, this person's pronouns are this. Now, again, at face value, there's nothing wrong with that, because maybe she didn't know. And again, on its own, that's fine. But my question is, why is this in Star Wars? This universe that they're in is taking place in a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Remember that? So why is someone there talking like they're from Earth in 2021? Do you see the problem? Why would someone in Star Wars talk like they're from the real world? Why would they talk like they're from Earth in the 20th century? Or the 21st century? Why? Like that literally makes no sense. And again, this is just one of the many examples that I'm sure there are. But just this alone tells you that this isn't Star Wars anymore. This is Disney's interpretation of Star Wars. This is what Disney wants Star Wars to be, and this is why they have lost their audience. The people who loved Star Wars, people from all different walks of life, who loved Star Wars for what it was when it got first introduced back in 1977. And yes, that included trans people, by the way. And even they looked at this and said, you know what, go fuck yourself. But that doesn't matter, because all they care about is the empty virtue signaling. That's it. That's all it is. So let's go ahead and just take a look at the actual post that was made to promote this. Now it's interesting, because I want you to remember, usually in the past, whenever we got any post that from Lucasfilm about one of their usual empty virtue signals, usually it happens on Twitter, right? Or at least it's one of the platforms that they use to promote this. But interestingly enough, the promotion for this didn't happen on Twitter. Instead, if you head on over to their official Star Wars account, and if you look, there's nothing here that talks about these two characters and their promotion of them in honor of Trans Day of Visibility, or International Trans Day of Visibility. You head on over to their account and there's nothing there. Absolutely nothing. Just head on down their timeline. You won't find anything there. So I decided to go ahead and check the official The High Republic account, and it's not there. Not there. Nothing. Nowhere. So then, thanks to Data Racer, he found out that they made this post on their Facebook account. Their Facebook account. Now, why is that important? Because if you are on Facebook, you can only respond to that by using your actual name. Because that way they know, just like this person said, they posted this, just like Data Racer said, they posted this on Facebook, so you have to use your personal account to call them out and then get doxxed and harassed by radical activists for your, quote, bigotry, and he tells people not to fall for it. And that is indeed true, because once you respond to this, they know who you are, and then they put your name out there so that all of these weirdos on Twitter can go ahead and attack you and call you all those horrible things until you eventually give up and just delete your Twitter account. This is the kind of company that Lucasfilm is, and it really is just an empty virtue signal. And again, if you want proof that this is the kind of company Lucasfilm is, let me just remind you again. Let me just remind you. Oh, and actually, before I do that, let me just point to one thing. They know that because they didn't do this on Twitter, I guess I should say, they knew that if they did this on Twitter, they would have gotten absolutely destroyed. Because lately, Lucasfilm has been absolutely getting demolished when it comes to whenever they put out any news. And if you want proof of that, all you have to do is go over to their official Star Wars account, head on over to most of their videos, and if you look down in the comments, let's just look at this, for example, this newest one, for example. Head on over to their comments, and it's nothing but Gina Carano and Forbes quotes. Gina Carano and Forbes, all Gina Carano quotes, because this is the kind of company that Lucasfilm is. They are afraid of any form of real criticism, and they will never admit that they screwed up. They never will admit that. And yeah, let me just remind you of this a little bit. Remember this when the High Republic trailer came out, and a lot of people pointed to this and they said, "Oh, you're just seeing ghosts. You don't matter." And we pointed to the fact that there was diversity, representation, and diversity twice, because at the end of the day, that's all they care about. They just care about making empty virtue signals because they think that's all they need to do to bring in an audience. They could have just let these two characters stand on their own, and then eventually people would have gone out there and said, "Hey, you know, you really should pick up the High Republic comic. I know it's from Lucasfilm, but I guarantee you it's pretty damn good, and these characters are actually pretty good." Now, I don't know if these characters are good or not. I haven't been reading the comic, and honestly, I don't care, because I'm at the point of just complete apathy with Star Wars. Like, I don't love it, I don't hate it anymore. I don't care. And I'll talk about that in a second, right before I end the video. So back to what I was saying before. If you want proof that this is nothing but an empty virtue signal, let me just remind you of a few things. Remember this? Remember when they keep trying to use John Boyega to talk about how, they try to use him in honor of Black History Month, and then they just get absolutely destroyed in the replies. They get absolutely destroyed. And this person says, "Now Finn matters." Yeah, and they point out to when they shrunk him in the Chinese poster because, you know, people over in China aren't really okay with people of a different skin color. They did the same thing with Black Panther. And yeah, people keep pointing at me realizing they completely shit on Finn's character after using him for clickbait on the Force Awakens poster. That is indeed true. They tricks people into thinking, remember the marketing for The Force Awakens? They always made it seem like Finn was probably going to be a bigger character than he is, and then he turned out to just be a throwaway side character. And it's just, and again, they get absolutely destroyed. And then again, even before that, they posted this: storytelling is at the heart of being human, and Black representation in all media gives us the opportunity to feel like we are a part of the world we are living in. To be seen and heard more gives us a chance to feel like we are understood by those consuming our stories. Stories can show how a character can overcome struggles and conflicts, and to see someone like yourself in that story is a springboard for the imagination. Introduce that to an eager mind of a child, and you inspire the next generation of storytellers and beyond. Mel Milton, artist of this Finn illustration. And again, they get absolutely destroyed. You can see Gary from Andrade pointing out again what they did to him in the poster. Heels versus Babyface. You shrunk him in the poster to appease racists, you hypocrites. That is indeed true. They did it to appease to the Chinese market. Even though, I don't know why they haven't realized this now, but if you look at the box office for Star Wars in China, they don't really do very well. They don't do very well over there because Star Wars isn't really all that beloved over in China. They don't care about Star Wars. And again, they absolutely destroyed in the replies. And yeah, here's the thing. Dead Racer points this out. You clowns made John Boyega a janitor, virtue signaling about representation after this racist stereotyping. That's true. That's true. And although this, I would say, is more on, what's his name? Rian Johnson. I would say this is more on Rian Johnson. You know, Rian Johnson, the guy who tries to paint anyone who didn't like The Last Jedi as being nothing but a bunch of racists and man babies, and yet he's the one who took Finn, the only Black character, and made him a janitor. Think about that for a second. He took the only Black character, or the only main Black character, and his backstory is that he was a janitor. Think about that for a second. And again, just absolutely destroyed in the replies. And just goes to show you again why they didn't post this on Twitter, because they know people would have called them out on it. They say they will have called them out on the fact that this is nothing but another empty virtue signal. And if you want even more proof of that, just in case you haven't already been sold on it before, let me remind you of this. Remember this? Remember when The Rise of Skywalker, they tried to say that, oh, look at this, we have our first gay kiss in Star Wars, right? even though it was in reality just a little 30-second scene that could easily be edited out and it wouldn't affect the film in any way, so they can air this movie in countries where, you know, let's just say being gay isn't really accepted. Because at the end of the day, all they care about is money. And it even says so right here. Look at this paragraph right here. In Singapore, same-sex marriage is illegal and sex between men is a crime that carries a penalty of up to 2 years in prison. The law is silent on sex between women, says the LGBT rights charity Stonewall. That's all this is. At the end of the day, there it is. If you haven't figured out by now that Lucasfilm as a company or not just Lucasfilm, but Disney is a company that does nothing but throw out empty virtue signals and just decide to use that as a shield so that if anyone criticizes them, if anyone points it out, they will immediately be called a bunch of this, a bunch of foes by the mainstream media, who, let's face it, most of them are owned by Disney, so it honestly isn't all that surprising. If you, again, like I said, if you haven't figured that out by now, I honestly don't know what else to tell you. Except this is where Star Wars is right now. Now, about the point that I made about my feelings of Star Wars, the fact that I hate it, the fact that I don't really hate it, I don't love it, honestly, I'm at the point of just complete apathy. Like, I don't think I even care about Star Wars anymore. I don't. So you might ask yourself then, why even talk about this? Why did you go through the trouble of even making this video? And that's because we need to talk about this. I know, like, here's the thing. I will always make a video if it means I get to call out Hollywood and their hypocrisy, because I feel like more people, and I know I don't really have that big of an audience. I know that. I know I'm still new to YouTube. I get that. And there are other people who made videos about this who have a bigger audience than me. The thing is, if I can at least show this, if I can at least shine a light on their hypocrisies to at least one person, then this video will have been worth it. And I know it's just, I kind of know how that sounds. I get it, I do, believe me. It's not lost on me, but it is true. It's true. We need to talk about this. We need to show people Hollywood's hypocrisy so that hopefully in the future no one gets fooled by Hollywood whenever they do things like this and they think that, oh yeah, Hollywood does care, but just no. I'm telling you right now, they don't care. They don't care about your cause. They don't care about what you fight for. They don't really care about representation. They only do this because they think it's a clear way to get your money. That's it. And it's also because of optics. That's all it is with Lucasfilm. That's all it is with Disney. That's all it is with Hollywood in general. It's all about optics with them. Think about it. This is a company that was literally built on people standing in front of a camera and pretending to be something they're not. That's what this company was built on. That's what Hollywood was built on. So honestly, the fact that they did this, the fact that this is nothing but posturing, honestly shouldn't surprise you. But like I said, there are people out there who still believe that Lucasfilm as a company genuinely cares, when in reality they don't. I hate to break it to you, they don't care. This is why I think so many people still talk about this, because we feel like people should know what Hollywood is, and hopefully they don't get fooled by people in Hollywood thinking that like they care. So I'm just gonna end it right here. I'm sorry if this video was a little bit long, but I just wanted to get all my thoughts out. And of course, I always want to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know what you thought about in what we discussed in this video. So leave a comment and consider liking the video and sharing the video if you want to support the channel, and also consider subscribing. And if you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. It really will help support the channel. And also remember to click on the bell icon, because that will notify you whenever I post a new video, at least I hope, if there's nothing going on with the algorithm. And also, if you are subscribed, do me a favor and check to make sure you're still subscribed, because it seems like there was another purge with YouTube where they went around unsubscribing people without their notice. So just, if you are subscribed, do me a favor and check to see if you are still indeed subscribed. So with that being said, thank you so much again for watching. Please remember to stay safe and take care of yourselves, and please join me for the next video. Bye for now.